So the NBA Live Mobile beta has been out for a couple of days now. Loads of people have been testing the game out on both Android and on iOS if they are in those regions that EA put out. And in this video, I'm going to be going through the top 10 things that I believe are the biggest changes or updates that we have had with this new beta. Now, I do want to start off by saying I myself have not had access to the beta. All I'm going off of these videos and screenshots that we're getting through the Discord server and of course on YouTube with people posting their own videos. Everything that I show will have an @ of where it is from, whether that be a YouTube channel or of course a Discord username. I'll leave the link in the description down below if you want to go ahead and test out the beta. You do have to be in certain regions to be able to download that, whether you're on the Google Play Store or of course through the Apple App Store. All of the links should be in the description down below. We are going to split this video into 3 separate sections. We've got the gameplay section, rewards and events, and then the team building aspect of the game. So I'll leave the chapters if you guys want to skip ahead to different bits, but we'll kick things off with the gameplay. We'll kick things off with number 1 being the graphics. Now this is a very, very obvious one that has completely changed with the new beta. Of course, if you look at this screenshot here, this is from 2016 when the game pretty much launched in season 1. It's what the gameplay looked like. Switch that over to now currently in season 9 in the game, and switch that over again to now being in this beta version of the game. It's so much different. It's a lot better in my opinion. A lot more detail on all of the players. A lot of the players do look like they have better scans and they're more recognizable in the game itself. And of course the graphic levels will probably depend on your device, whether your device can run it or not, but it's really nice to see that we've got all of these graphic improvements, especially when you compare it to 2016 in season 1 to now being in 2025, and you look at other mobile games and the ridiculous graphics that they can use in their games. It's nice to see that NBA Live Mobile has sort of caught up with this and it looks really, really good. The next up on the list though with the gameplay is an interesting one, and it is going to be the dribble stick. Now, we haven't had a really specific way of being able to do certain dribble moves in NBA Live Mobile. All you could do previously was just press the drive button here and there, and it would do a sort of basic move. Back in season 1, you could hold it down and it would do a sort of signature move to get themselves a little bit more free. Whereas now in season 9, it is just simply pressing it, moving the joystick a little bit. You could maybe do a spin move and do all of this stuff. But now we've got a dedicated dribble button, which you can move around to do specific moves. You can do, of course, the spin move, but you can also do other ones. And I'm sure with this, EA might be able to add some special moves to specific players, for example, like Kyrie Irving might have some ridiculous handles and stuff like that. That is just me speculating. Of course, all of the stuff I'm just going off of videos of other people playing the game because I don't have it myself at the moment. I'd love to test it out, but unfortunately, I don't have that right now. And we'll end off the gameplay section with the plays button. Now, this is a button a lot of people have been asking for a very long time in NBA Live Mobile, and it looks like you can pick 4 different things on offense and 4 different things when you're on defense. So when you're on offense, it looks like you've got the pick, the screen, the post, and the ISO, which is very good. Of course, there was a sort of workaround of getting a pick and roll in the game itself, but to be able to go to the post and of course create that ISO play is really nice to see. I'm not sure whether further on down the line we will get different plays, or maybe different players will have different plays to be able to use in the game, but I do think this is a very fun feature to be able to have, and it'll be interesting to see how it works in NBA Live Mobile, which has typically been a more sort of arcadey take on basketball compared to the 2K versions of the game, whether that be 2K Mobile, the Arcade Edition, 2K My Team. All of that stuff has been a bit more geared towards being realistic, whereas NBA Live Mobile has always been that sort of arcadey version of basketball. So I'm going to be interested to see how much of a difference this makes in the new version of the game. But that rounds off the gameplay section. We'll now head on to the rewards and the events. And of course, we knew that currency wasn't going to carry over between the seasons. So from season 9 to the new update, we knew that the currency would not carry over. So that's your coins and of course your NBA cash. We knew it wouldn't carry over, but now we're getting a look at what the new currencies are going to be. It's going to be coins, and I believe it's called credits as well. Now these are going to be pretty much very similar. It's very hard to tell with a beta because there's not a lot of paid stuff in the beta, because of course all your progress in the beta doesn't carry over to the actual version of the game. So currency is a little bit tricky as to how it's exactly going to work, but if I had to make a guess, and this is just a guess, coins are going to be basically what we've had in the game at the moment with your NBA coins, and then your premium currency, as it were, will likely be credits. Again, that is me making that assumption because all the stuff in the beta doesn't carry over into the main game itself. but it does look like there is a lot of stuff in the store that you can spend both of those currencies on at the moment. Of course, the store is the thing that I think will change the most from the beta to the actual game with the paid stuff, and of course what you're going to be able to get with those specific currencies. So take that stuff with a pinch of salt, but those are going to be the two main currencies that we have in the game, it looks like. Then we'll go over to weekly events. Now, we haven't had this sort of stuff in a very, very long time. Back in season 1, we always used to have specific events. When it came to different days of the week, it would cycle through sort of legends, throwbacks. You had supremacy, NBA ruler, a bunch of different events that would appear at specific days within the week, and you'd cycle through getting different players. And it looks like something similar is back in the game, which is nice to see. We've got two things in particular with this beta version. You've got games of the week and players of the week. Looks like we've got specific players to focus on throughout the week, which is really nice, and those will likely change as we get through the NBA season. You've also got stuff in the store corresponding to that players of the week section, and then you've also got games of the weeks where you can go ahead and play as a team in games that are actually going to happen in real life, which again is a very nice thing, and that is just going to hopefully continue as we go through the season. Something extra to be able to play as you go through. If there's, say, a promo that you finished and stuff like that, it looks like this is something that can carry on throughout the week, giving us new players and new teams to go up against. And the final section we're going to take a look at, probably the biggest one, is team building. And we'll start off with players can be used in different positions. Now, this in season 9 and from season 1 pretty much you could never do. You could never have a card that is at the point guard position being put into a different position, but now it looks like you can do that. Of course, it might hurt the player in terms of their overall and of course the rest of the team overall, but it looks like you can switch those players around in terms of their positions, which is really, really fun to do. So you could potentially have a full lineup of centers, maybe a full lineup of point guards. I'm not sure how strict it's going to be with what you can do, but this is going to be a very fun thing to add in the game for a couple of little challenges here and there, maybe to just test out in the game. Probably wouldn't be worth doing it if you are playing League versus League seriously, because you'd probably want everyone to be in their correct positions. But it is just a really fun thing to have in the game itself. Then we also have chemistry, which it looks like it's going to boost the overall of your players or your team overall, as it were. This is something I went over in the original sneak peeks video. And again, because I haven't played the game myself, I can't really comment too much on it, but it looks like you've got yourself, you can match with this players' teams, you can match with the promos and then their sort of skill set, as it were. And it does make a massive difference in trying to upgrade your players overall and your team overall in particular, just matching with that chemistry. That's going to be interesting to see how much of an influence that has in how you can actually play in gameplay and how much that affects your player overalls. But you can see on this screenshot over here, you gain chemistry for each player on your active lineup who share the same chemistry badges. And of course, the more players you have, the more chemistry will be added to your team and ultimately improve that overall. Another thing that got added to the game is snapshots. And again, because I haven't had the chance to play around with this myself, I'm not really 100% sure on what it is. I believe it works very similar to how coaches work, but they're specific to each separate player. So each player has its own snapshot, which you can equip to that player, and you can of course change them out. You can get new ones through a variety of ways, which we'll probably see in the game, and of course we'll probably get new ones, and that will essentially upgrade some stats on the player, boosting their overall, as it were, in the game. It looks like you can't have the same snapshot on two different players at the same time, unless you've of course got duplicates, but I don't think you can. I do think this is something that you'll need to just play around with to get an understanding of. That's how I feel at the moment watching all of these videos. I feel like I need to have a little play around to see what is actually going on, but we got snapshots and that is pretty cool. Then we've also got tiers of players, so replacing gold, elite, silver, bronze, all of those sort of tiers of players that we had previously. Now looks like we've got epic, rare, common, and I believe we've got a legendary card as well. LeBron James seems to be the highest rated card in the game, and he is down as being iconic. Of course, this is the beta, so things might change, but I believe we'll get those different tiers, and of course we'll probably get added more and more as we get through the game. I'm not sure whether this is going to be a game that gets redone every single season like we've had previously in NBA Live Mobile, or whether it sort of carries on a little bit more like FIFA Mobile and Madden Mobile seem to be doing at the moment. And the very last thing that I've got when it comes to team building is it shows you all of the players and all of the snapshots that we have got in the game at the moment. Not just your inventory, but what is actually available in the game. This is a pretty cool feature in my opinion, I believe, because at the moment we don't have a database for NBA Live Mobile, but at least this way you can see every single card in the game. You can see their stats, you can see exactly what you need to rank them up, you can see their abilities, their chemistry, all of this stuff, which I think is a very good feature to have in the game, just to see what's available. Because of course, before we had the auction house, we could see cards, but you couldn't see every single card there was in the game itself. And this applies to snapshots as well, but I do think this is a great feature, especially if you're looking for, say, a specific player. You're thinking about what players would be good to upgrade them, and of course it helps everyone, because someone might be able to make a database from all of this stuff, including their stats, their chemistry levels, their overalls, their rank. All of that stuff will be very good to have, I think, in the game itself. So that's all the features that I've picked out, the top 10 as it were, my top 10. Let me know your favorite features that you've seen from people playing the beta, or you yourself playing the beta and seeing what it's all about. Of course, I don't have it at the moment. Hopefully it becomes available to more countries, or of course it releases globally at some point when the entire game gets updated. We'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. I know a lot of you guys will be asking in the comments down below, when is this game coming out for everyone? You're in a specific country, when do you get access to it? And I completely get it. No one knows when this game will release publicly. It is still just in beta. Do want to stress that. And again, I don't have access myself. I'm just simply a player of the game like everyone else, unless you're working with EA or have a partnership. I am just like everyone else playing this game and know exactly as much as the rest of us. So I do just want to stress that, because I know a lot of people will still ask me, when's this game coming out and when's it going to be available for everyone? I simply don't know. No one really knows unless you're working at EA. YouTube thinks you'll like this video next, and I'll see you guys over there. Peace.